You've probably been told yoga helps with joint pain, that it's gentle, that it's perfect for seniors. But what if I told you the wrong kind of stretching might be what's keeping your knees stiff? Picture this. You finish a 30-minute senior yoga class. You breathed deeply, you reached overhead, you held every pose. But now, getting off the couch, your knees ache, your hips pop, and your body feels tighter than before. That's not just frustrating, it's a red flag. See, yoga stretches muscles, but your joints, they don't respond to stretching the same way, especially not after 65. They need something different, something most routines miss entirely. It's called rhythmic compression. Gentle, supported motion that pumps synovial fluid, the natural lubricant your joints depend on, to where it's needed most. And the best part, the number one move that does this safely and effectively isn't on a yoga mat. It's not even called exercise in most routines. In fact, you do it every day, about 30 times. But 90% of people do it wrong after 65. Let's change that. Let me ask you something personal. What's one stretch or yoga pose you've tried that left your joints feeling worse afterward? Don't worry, you're not alone. A recent survey of seniors over 65 found nearly 7 out of 10 felt more flexible after stretching, but still had the same or worse pain in their knees, hips, or lower back. That's because flexibility and joint health aren't the same thing. Flexibility is about muscles. Joint relief, that takes movement with purpose, not just motion, but the right type of motion. And that journey starts right now, because the first thing we need to do isn't an exercise, it's a reframe, a shift in how we think about stretching. Because not all movement is helpful. Some just feels helpful, and we've been doing it wrong for years. You've probably heard it before. Just stretch more, open up the joints, loosen those tight muscles. And that sounds logical, right? But here's the trap, especially after 65. Stretching targets muscles, it lengthens them. But your joints, they're a whole different system. Joints rely on something called synovial fluid, your body's built-in lubricant. But here's the thing. That fluid doesn't flow from holding a pose. It flows from rhythmic compression, a gentle squeeze and release motion that acts like a pump. Without it, joints feel dry, stuck, like bending a rusty hinge. Now meet Helen. She's 72, a retired dancer from Philadelphia. Still limber, still proud of her posture, but every morning she'd wake up with knees that crackled and hips that resisted every step. I thought being flexible was enough, she told me. But I realized I wasn't moving my joints. I was just pulling on the edges. What changed everything? Tiny end-range pulses, not bouncing dangerously, but gentle, 1-inch pulses near her stretch limit. Just 5 reps, then release. No holds, no force. After 2 weeks, she wasn't grabbing the counter every time she stood up. That quiet stiffness? Gone. So here's the fix. Stop locking into long holds. Start adding movement within the stretch. It might feel subtle, but subtle is what your joints respond to. And this is just the foundation, because now we're going to layer on support and rebuild your movement rhythm from the inside out. Here's where it gets interesting, because once you realize stretching alone isn't enough, the next question becomes, what is? The answer isn't more intensity, it's hybridity, the combination of two powerful elements, support and rhythm. Think about this. Aging joints don't want chaos, they want security, but they also don't want to stagnate. So we give them both. We support the body using a wall or chair, taking pressure off the system. Then we introduce slow, controlled movement, not flailing, not freezing, but gentle motion with a purpose. It's like cleaning a sponge. You don't just pour water over it and hope it soaks. You squeeze it rhythmically. That's how fluid moves. Your joints are the same. They respond to that slow press and release. Let me tell you about Raul. He's 76, a retired house painter from Santa Fe. Spent years on ladders, knees always under load. When he tried yoga last year, he said, "It felt good while I was in the pose, but as soon as I stood up, my body stiffened again." His shift? Wall-supported squats, but with a twist. He didn't go deep, he didn't go fast. He pressed into the wall, lowered halfway, paused, and came back up slowly. 3 rounds, that's it. By week 3, Raul said, "My knees don't flinch when I get out of the truck anymore. It's like they trust me again." That's the power of the hybrid. Try this. Find a wall. Stand with your back to it, feet 12 inches away. Lower just a few inches. Pause 2 seconds. Rise. Do 5. Rest. Do another 5. But don't rush. This isn't a workout. It's a conversation with your joints. And next, we're turning that conversation into something even more precise, a movement your knees will thank you for. Now let's take that hybrid idea and bring it to life with one of the simplest, safest movements you can do. Wall glides. Sounds basic, but for aging joints, this movement is a game changer. Here's why. It's a closed chain exercise. That means your feet stay planted and your joints move in a predictable, stable path. No jerking, no guesswork. What it does is create rhythmic compression on your knees and hips, just enough to activate circulation without triggering pain. And because you're upright, gravity helps your body learn how to move safely under gentle load. Physical therapists often recommend wall glides over deep squats for seniors. A 2023 review suggested they reduce pressure on the kneecap while improving functional strength in people over 65. Now meet Charlene. She's 80, a retired librarian from Maine. Hadn't exercised in years, but wanted to feel steady again. She told me, I was afraid of falling, even in my own kitchen, but the wall felt safe, like a partner. She started with 5 slow glides a day. No mirrors, no mat, just her and the wall. After 2 weeks, she said her knees felt alive, not stiff, not aching. It was like they woke up, she said. Here's how to try it. Stand with your back against a wall, feet about a foot forward. Slowly glide down just until you feel tension, not pain. Hold 1 second, then glide back up. Do 5 reps. Most people go too low. That's the mistake. This isn't about depth. It's about rhythm and repeatability, because the goal isn't to challenge your joints, it's to feed them. And if this feels easy, good, because the next movement you do every day, but it's where most joint pain starts. You've just rebuilt something most people overlook completely. You activated your joint rhythm, you supported your structure, and you introduced the kind of movement that actually feeds your knees and hips. This isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. Because here's the truth. Most programs stop right here. They teach you how to stretch, maybe even how to move, but they rarely show you how to control transitions, the exact moment most joint pain and falls begin. That's what we're doing next. And if this has been helpful so far, a quick like or comment tells the algorithm, hey, this matters, and helps other seniors find relief. Now let's talk about the micro movement that turns sitting down into the best joint training you've never heard of. Most people think sitting down is passive, but for your joints, especially your knees and hips, how you sit might be the most revealing movement of your day. Because when you sit down fast, your joints don't control the descent. They surrender to gravity, and over time, that trains them to fail during transitions. What's the fix? Tempo. Slowing down the last few inches of your sit not only builds strength in your thighs and hips, but teaches your joints to decelerate, which is exactly what protects them during real-world motion. Let me introduce you to Victor. He's 73, a former high school basketball coach from Illinois. Still mentally sharp, still competitive. But over the last year, he noticed something small, but disturbing. I was flopping into chairs, he said. Didn't even realize it. My body was quitting early. He started using a simple 5-second descent, standing in front of a chair, lowering himself slowly, pausing just before contact, then completing the sit with control. No added weights, no special gear, just deliberate attention. By week 3, Victor didn't just sit better. He started rising from chairs without bracing his hands. My knees feel like they got their brakes back, he told me. Here's how to try it. Stand in front of a sturdy chair. Keep your hands by your sides. Slowly lower for 5 seconds. When you're 2 inches from the seat, pause. Count 1, 2. Then sit. Rest. Then try again. 3 to 5 reps. That's plenty. The mistake? Dropping too fast or pushing back up without focus. And here's why this matters. Because the movement you already do every day, standing up, is where 80% of seniors unknowingly overload their joints. Let's fix that next. You do this every day without thinking, standing up from a chair, a couch, a bed, the toilet. And here's the problem. Most people over 65 do it in a way that traps joint fluid instead of releasing it. Let me explain. When you stand quickly, especially without using your legs intentionally, you send a sudden jolt through the knees and hips. That jolt doesn't just strain the joint, it interrupts fluid exchange. And that means less lubrication, more friction, more inflammation. Think of your joints like a washing machine. They work best when the cycle is smooth, agitating just enough to keep things moving. But slam the door mid-cycle, it jams. That's what rushing out of a chair does to your knees. Now, let's meet George. He's 77, a lifelong gardener from upstate New York. Didn't think twice about movement until one day his left knee buckled stepping out of a recliner. Nothing broke, but it shook him. My doctor said everything looked fine, he told me, but I knew something was off. I didn't trust my own legs. George started using what we call the rock, pause, rise pattern. Here's how it works. When sitting, shift your weight forward slightly. Rock once, then twice. On the third rock, plant your feet firmly, lean chest forward, engage your thighs, and rise up slowly without using your arms. Why does it work? Because the rocking primes your joints. It brings blood flow. It prepares your balance system. It tells your brain, we're about to move, on purpose. Within 2 weeks, George wasn't grabbing furniture anymore. I stand without thinking, he said, and for the first time, it doesn't scare me. Try it yourself. Next time you rise from a chair, don't rush. Rock twice, then rise on the third. Smooth, focused, controlled. And now, we bring it all together because there's one move, a seated rhythm pattern, that restores coordination, timing, and joint confidence in under 2 minutes a day. It's not flashy, but it works quietly, like the best kinds of medicine. This is the movement that ties everything together, because it's not about stretching. It's not even about strength. It's about rhythm. When your joints lose rhythm, they lose coordination. Timing slips, muscles fire out of sync. And that's when pain shows up, not from damage, but from disorganization. This final move rebuilds that timing. It's called the seated step through rhythm. And it works because it mimics the exact joint sequence you use when walking, but in a fully supported way. Let me paint the picture. You're seated, back upright, feet flat. You extend one leg slowly, heel out, toes up, then bring it back in. Alternate, like marching in place, but controlled, deliberate. And here's the twist. As you extend your leg, you gently tap the opposite knee with your hand. This cross-body rhythm activates your hip flexors, your knees, your ankles, and your brain's movement coordination centers, all at once. Linda, 70, a choir director from Oregon, started doing this while brushing her teeth. She didn't expect much. It felt silly at first, she told me. But by week 2, I noticed something wild. I wasn't groaning when getting up from the couch anymore. She thought her joints were degenerating. Turns out they were just disorganized. Here's the how-to. Sit tall in a chair. Extend your right leg forward slowly, heel first. At the same time, tap your left knee with your right hand. Return. Repeat on the other side. Left leg forward, right hand taps right knee. Do 10 reps per side. Nice and easy. No rushing. You'll feel it, not like a burn, but like clarity, like your body remembering something it forgot. Don't kick. Don't swing. Just move with intention. This movement doesn't just help your joints. It tells your nervous system, we're back in sync. And that's the missing piece most senior fitness programs never teach. Because the problem wasn't just pain, it was lost rhythm. And now, you've got it back. Let's step back. What do all 6 of these movements have in common? They're simple, they're slow, and they don't look impressive on video, but they work. Not because they stretch you, not because they strengthen you, but because they restore your joint rhythm, the invisible timing system that most exercise programs ignore entirely. Here's what mainstream fitness gets wrong. They chase intensity. They chase range. They treat joints like rubber bands. Pull harder, they'll bounce back. But after 65, your joints aren't rubber. They're memory-based systems. They don't need more pressure. They need pattern. That's what you just rebuilt. Every movement here mimics real life. Sitting, standing, shifting, stepping. They train not the big muscles, but the tiny adjustments that keep you upright, stable, and safe. In Japan, seniors don't do yoga. They don't hire personal trainers. They squat to reach teacups. They rise from floor cushions. Their transitions are their training. We lost that. But now you've found it again. Your chair isn't just a seat anymore. It's your balance lab, your joint rhythm studio, the place where healing starts not from force, but from memory. You didn't need more movement. You needed the right kind. Let's make this real. Here's your 3-day starter plan to begin restoring your joint rhythm without pressure, equipment, or overwhelm. Day 1. Wall glides, 3 slow reps in the morning, 3 at night. Use the wall for support. Feel the motion, not just the movement. Day 2. Add the sit-back tempo. After lunch, stand in front of your chair. Lower slowly for 5 seconds. Pause, sit. Do it 3 times. That's it. Day 3. Introduce the step through rhythm. While brushing your teeth or watching TV, do 10 slow seated leg extensions, one leg at a time, with the gentle knee tap. You've now covered support, rhythm, and coordination, all in less than 5 minutes a day. But a quick note of safety. If you feel sharp pain, stop immediately. If you've had recent surgery or severe arthritis, talk to your physical therapist before starting. These are gentle, but they still engage deep systems. And remember, some people feel better after 3 days, some after 3 weeks. Both are normal. Your timeline is your timeline. This isn't about pushing. It's about remembering how to listen to your joints again. And once you do, you'll start hearing them say, "Thank you." Here's what I hope you take away from this. Joint pain doesn't mean your body is broken. It means it's asking for something different. Not more reps, not deeper stretches, but smarter rhythm, more attention, less force. Because aging isn't the end of movement, it's the beginning of a new kind, one that respects your history, your structure, your wisdom. You don't have to do all 6 moves today, but pick one. Anchor it to a part of your routine. After brushing teeth, before lunch, when you make tea, let it become part of your rhythm. Because you're not just doing exercises, you're teaching your joints to trust you again. So, what will you try this week, and where will you fit it in? Let me know in the comments. I read every one. And you might inspire someone else to begin. If you want to go deeper, our next video breaks down 3 healthy stretches that secretly make joint pain worse. You won't look at hamstring or quad stretches the same way again. But for now, be gentle, be consistent, and know this: your rhythm didn't disappear. It just needed to be reminded.